This is a quick intro on how to play AlphaBlitz as well as how to add or change the categories in the template. To start, you can go ahead and open the AlphaBlitz PowerPoint file. There are 3 files with different sound options: normal, low, and no sound. For the version with the scoreboard, you will have to enable macros. There's a file included in your order with tips on how to enable macros on your PC. If you are unable to use macros, you can use the version without a scoreboard and keep track of the scores manually using the electronic or printable scorecard included in your order. I'm going to start with the version with the scoreboard, and then I will cover the differences in the version without the scoreboard. Once you have the file open, you can start the slideshow from the beginning. I have included an optional black slide that you can use to have the game up but not visible until you click the slide. You can delete this slide if you would rather have the game start immediately. After you start the game, there is a quick intro, and once you're at the main screen, click Play Game. The first slide lets you enter the player or team names. Simply type names in for up to 8 players, and then click Start. The game begins with instructions on how to play. You will be given a category and the 20 most common letters in the alphabet. Player 1 has 10 seconds to name a word in the category that starts with an unused letter. They will get 1 point for a valid word. Each letter can only be used once per round. Players are eliminated if they run out of time, try to reuse a letter, or give an answer that doesn't fit the category. The last remaining player will earn 5 bonus points. If there are multiple players still in after all the letters are used, then each will get 5 points. Once you've gone over the instructions, click Let's Play to begin. You will see the board with the first category and the 8 players below. If you entered less than 8 names, the board will automatically turn off the unused players. Click the Start button to reveal the letters and start the timer. You will see player 1 is highlighted and they have 10 seconds to give an answer. You as the host will click on the first letter of the word they give if it's a valid word. So for example, if the category is drinks and they give the word coffee, you would click the C button. You don't need to worry if you can't click the letter before the time runs out. The timer animation and music will stop, but nothing will happen until you click. So if the player gives their answer right before time runs out, or if you need to discuss if a word is valid for the category, it's not an issue to click the letter after the timer ends. So we'll go ahead and click the C button for coffee. Each letter can only be used once per round, so you'll see the C automatically changes to used. 1 point will also be added to the current player's score. The next player will be highlighted, and the timer will immediately reset. So now it's player 2's turn. Let's say their answer is milk. You would click the M button, and then it moves on to player 3. Let's say player 3 does not come up with an answer. When the time runs out, the miss button will appear. Click the miss button, and player 3 will be eliminated for that round. When players are eliminated, you will see their scoreboard turns off, and for the remainder of this round, they will automatically be skipped from taking another turn. After clicking the miss button, the game automatically continues with the next player. As the game progresses, it will get more difficult as letters are used up, and players will continue to be eliminated. Once you are down to 2 players, and one of the remaining players misses their answer, you will have your round winner. When you click the final miss button, the winner animation and sound will play, and 5 points will be added to the winner's score. Then you can click the arrow in the lower right corner to go to the next round, and the game will continue with the next player in line. There are a couple other buttons to be aware of. If you need to manually change one of the player's scores, you can use the scoreboard up and down buttons. If you have multiple players still in the game once all the letters are used up, you can click the bonus star button to manually add 5 points to each of the remaining players. Although the active player automatically switches throughout the game, if you want to skip to a different player, you can click their player button to make it that player's turn instead. If you accidentally click miss, you can use the on-off button to turn a player's score on or off. If you accidentally click the wrong letter on the board, you can click it again to turn the letter on or off. Just note you will need to manually adjust the score using the scoreboard buttons. In the upper right corner, the Reset Board button will reset the board but leaves the scores. The Reset Game button resets both the board and resets the scores to 0. The End Game button jumps to the final scores so you can easily wrap up the game whenever you want. And that's all there is to playing the version with the scoreboard. In the version without the scoreboard, the gameplay is the same, but there are a few differences. If you go to the game board slide, you will see the 8 players as well as instructions on how to update the names. These instructions will not be visible when you are in the slideshow view. You can leave the player names as is if you prefer, or to update the names, click View and Slide Master. Type in the player names. If you have less than 8 players, you can delete the text and the first colored box to show they are not being used. Once you've updated your player names, click Close Master View and the game is ready to play. In this version, the current player will not be highlighted, so players will just take turns in the order of the player board. The letters will disappear and the timer will reset the same as in the scoreboard version. If a player misses an answer though, you will click the Miss button for that specific player to eliminate them and turn off their name. Then you can skip that player for the remainder of the round. When you are down to the final player, you can click the Winner button to show the winner animation and music. Similar to the scoreboard version, the extra buttons include a button to manually turn a player's scoreboard back on, the End Game button to jump to the end of the game, and the Next button to go to the next round. For the no scoreboard version, I have included an electronic Excel scorecard and a printable PDF scorecard that you can use for keeping track of the scores. Simply type or write in their points. The electronic version will automatically total the scores, and for the printable version, you can just add up the totals at the end. And that's all there is to the version without a scoreboard. The game comes with 100 category rounds. The initial game has 5 rounds in the section called Game Boards. If you scroll to the end of the presentation, there is a section called Extra Game Boards with the remaining rounds. To use these, simply drag or copy and paste them into the Game Boards section above. The standard game is 5 rounds, but you can adjust the number of rounds depending on how long you'd like the game to last. And you can always use the End Game button if the game takes longer than expected. You can play the game as provided, or if you want to personalize or refresh the game, it's very easy to change or add categories. Unless you're starting from the original presentation, I always recommend you reset the score to 0 before editing by going into Ending Game slide and clicking the Reset Game button. If you don't reset the scores, you may get an error if you try to delete a slide. To create your own categories, go to the end of the game where you will find a blank template slide. You can simply copy and paste the blank template into the Game Board section above and then type in your new category. If we play the slideshow, you can see the new category appears. You do also have the option to simply edit the existing puzzles as well rather than copying and pasting them. So I hope this demo was helpful. Please feel free to contact me if you have any questions on how to play. I would also love to hear any feedback you have on your experience playing AlphaBlitz. I hope you enjoy the game.